What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? What's up, TikTok? Appreciate y'all. What up? What up? What up, Instagram? I think we being shadow banned. But it's all right. YouTube, what's up? I got this word I want to share with you guys real quick. And I pray that it blesses you. I pray that it's a help to you in your time of need. I think that God is going to speak something to you that's going to help you, that's going to establish you, that's going to strengthen you, and that's going to get you where you need to be. Today, I want to deal with the sin of unbelief. And so rock out with me real quick. Let me set up my other platforms and then let's get it popping. Let's get it popping. If you watch me by TikTok, I'm talking to YouTube and I'm talking to Instagram. So I got three different things going on. But I'm definitely talking to you. So get on here. I think God is speaking something powerful. Let me set these places up. Let me know where you watching me from real quick. I always like to know where everybody's coming in from. Let me know where you watching me from real quick. Real quick. Let me set these places up. Let me know where you watching me from real quick. I always like. You'll never leave us the same. What's up, everybody? You watching me from Houston, Maryland? Where you at? Good evening from Michigan. What's up with you? What's up? What's up? What up? What up? What up? California, what's up? Mississippi, what up? Italy, what's up? I see you. You'll never leave us. What up? Italy, what's up? I see you. What's up? What's up? You move the What's up? All right. All right. Let's get it. Let's get it. I want to deal with the sin of unbelief. I want to deal with the sin of unbelief. One of the things that I feel that God has really been dealing with me about in this season of my life is how much I believe in what he's spoken and what he's told me. And this is a it can seem like a normal, like a casual type of word, but like I really want you to receive what I'm about to say prophetically. Now, um, first of all, let me just say this point real quick. If you're watching me by by TikTok, you might be new to my platform. You might not know who I am, anything of that nature. My name is Norris Johnson. I'm a preacher. I've been preaching for 10 years. What else can I say about me? I'm black. I love God. All those different types of things. But while you're on here with me, you're gonna hear me talk about Jesus, 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 the Bible, Bible, Bible. That's all I talk about. That's who I am. That's what I deal with. And if you're a believer, you'll be blessed. If you're not a believer, you'll still be blessed. There's still something that God wants to say to you. And so I want you to lock in with me, rock in with me, send this to somebody, let people know, send gifts, send a lot of gifts, send roses, send all those things. Do your thing. And I appreciate you. All right. And follow if you like this type of content. All right. Instagram, we own. I think I'm being shadow banned on Instagram, but it's okay because I've been saying some wild stuff to y'all. But that's all right. And YouTube and Facebook, thank y'all so much for rocking in and for being a part. I want you guys to continue to rock, continue to roll, God is doing some amazing things. God is doing some amazing things. I want you to do me a favor. We're gonna talk Bible today, and we're gonna deal with this sin of unbelief. I think that God is doing something special in your life, but I think as a result of what He's doing in your life, you got to be careful for this sin of unbelief. The sin of unbelief. Some of us don't know this, but I want to see if you know now. You know that unbelief is a sin. Unbelief is a sin. Thank you all for your likes. Keep liking, keep doing all that good stuff. Help me out, TikTok. But unbelief is a sin. And not trusting fully what God has said over your life and what God will do is a sin. I want you to really grasp that and really hold on to that, because for a lot of us, we think that people go to hell just because of sin, just because of, like, you slept with somebody, you did something you weren't supposed to do, all those types of things. We think that that is enough to send people to hell, but really what sends people to hell is the sin of unbelief. Now, it's not necessarily unbelief in the promises of God or unbelief in what God has spoken and what God has said, but it's the sin of not believing in who He is. It's the sin of not believing in who He is. People are saved by believing in Jesus. People are saved by faith in Jesus. And so when you go to hell, if you go to hell, if you don't make it, if whatever happens to you, it happens simply because you did not believe in Jesus Christ and you didn't give your faith and give your life to Him. That's the ground level sin of unbelief. But do you know that it is sin to not believe what God spoke over your life? It's sin to not believe what God has said over you. It's sin to not believe that God is actually going to do what He said He's going to do. I need some people right now to really hold on to the promises that God has spoken over their lives. I want you to write in the comments real quick. If God said He's going to do it, then He's going to do it. If God said He's going to do it, write that in the comments, then He's going to do it. If God spoke it, then He's going to do it. It's going to happen. It is what it is. There's nothing that the devil can do to stop it. If God said He's going to do it, then He's going to do it. If God said He's going to do it, then He's going to do it. I'm going to show you this story in the Bible that has to deal with people not fully believing in what God said, and then the result of that unbelief. Keep liking TikTok, keep sending gifts TikTok, keep doing all that stuff. I'm learning how to operate on TikTok. And yes, I have a TikTok. Somebody asked that question. Yes, I have all social media. My name is my name everywhere. Now check this out. Check this out. God is going to do exactly what He said. If God spoke it, He's going to do it. If God said it, He's going to bring it to pass. In the Old Testament, when we read about the story of Moses and the children of Israelites, you're literally reading a story about the promise of God and the process to the fulfillment of that promise. The process to the fulfillment of that promise. When you watch the Prince of Egypt, you're watching the promise of God, but you're also watching the process of that promise being fulfilled. You're watching the process of it happen. How does God bring a people to what He said they would have? How does God do it? How does God establish it? For you, God speaks a thing and then takes you to where He spoke, takes you to what He spoke, takes you to the place that He said you would go to. If God says you're going to be a person that has generational wealth, you're going to be the first one to have generational wealth in your family. God shows you that, says that to you, and then He takes you to where He said. He tells the children of Israel, I'm going to take you to a land that is flowing with milk and honey. However, on your way to that land, you're going to see everything that is the opposite of what I said. I told you I'm taking you to a land flowing with milk and honey. On the way, you're going to get trapped. You're going to get stuck in the wilderness where you don't even necessarily have flowing water, let alone milk and honey, let alone endless resources, endless supplies. That's you're going to encounter everything that is opposite of what I said. But all I need you to do is submit your life to me and obey me and believe me. If you believe me, you obey me, and you submit your life to me, then you're going to get to where I'm telling you to go. Understand that on the way to the promise, God is trying to mold you. Come on, we're talking about the sin of unbelief. On the way to the promise, God is trying to mold you. God is trying to make you into who he said that you're supposed to be. Your promise has a specific you in mind. For instance, the old me could not obtain the promise that God said for me because the old me would taint it, mess it up, destroy it, jack it up, do all those things. If God told me I'm gonna take you around the world, you're gonna speak in stadiums and you're gonna influence millions. If I was still a whore when I got there, I was gonna sleep with everything moving. I was gonna mess up. If I was still a drunk when I got there, I was gonna have access to more stuff and fail in everything. God says, not only does your promise need you to be processed, your promise needs you to become the best version of yourself before you get there. Some of us are complaining about stuff that God saved us from. You know, a premature promise is a curse. You getting something out of season is a curse. It's a terrible thing to get something out of time and out of season. Keep liking Instagram, TikTok. Thank you. Thank you for your likes. Instagram, you can keep liking too because I'm shadow banned for a time. But check this out. So God takes the children of Israel out of Egypt. He delivers them from Egypt. He delivers them from Egypt. Remember, I'm talking to 3 platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. The mic is for YouTube. He delivers them out of Egypt, takes them out of bondage, but then puts them into process. Before promise comes process. You can never, ever, ever, ever skip process. If you do skip process, promise will be short-lived. If you do skip process, your promise will be short-lived. Let's say your promise is that you will have a functional marriage. You will be married. God is going to give you a wife. God is going to give you a spouse. God is going to give you a husband. If you skip the process of becoming a good husband, a stable man, a functional person, if you skip the process on that, the marriage will be short-lived. Your wife, husband, whoever you're going to get is going to divorce you quick because you didn't work on your character while you was waiting. You just wanted to hurry up and get married. God tells you you're going to be a millionaire and you still suck at managing $100. That millionaire's time is going to be short-lived. Do you know people that win the lottery end up going broke about 90% of the time simply because they didn't allow themselves to get processed before they got the major blessing? Your blessing out of season is a terrible, 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 terrible thing. Thank you for your gifts, TikTok. Send roses and all the other gifts that you can. I don't know what those are. And so God takes the children of Israel out of Egypt, but then he says, I want to process you in the wilderness. I'm going to use terrible conditions to make you better. I'm going to use terrible conditions to make you better. In Egypt, you had all the food you wanted. You had all the water you wanted. You had all the stuff you wanted. Thank you for your rose. You had all the things you wanted. However, you were in bondage. So I'm going to take you out of Egypt. I'm going to put you in the wilderness, and I'm going to show you that I still need to work on your character. I'm going to show you that I still need to work on you. I'm going to process you and make you into what I want you to be. By the time you leave this place, you're going to be all that I have ordained for you to be, and your promise will be thoroughly enjoyed by you. It'll be hard for you to enjoy your promise if you have not been processed. So I'm going to take you around this journey. All right, cool. So the children of Israel have come around this journey, and they have gone back and forth this whole time. Sometimes they are worshiping God. Other times they're worshiping a gold calf. Sometimes they got butt naked and worshiped another calf, worshiped another thing. The Israelites would just be wild, and God would get mad and then redeem them, get mad and then redeem them. God to get mad, Tell Moses he finna kill him, and then God will redeem them. God will do everything that he wants to do. The Bible says in Numbers chapter 14, it was time for the people to see the land that God was getting ready to bring them over into. They were getting ready to see the land that God was getting ready to bring them over into. The Bible says that God tells them to send over 12 spies into the land that he promised them. So they're about to go see the promise. It's 12 people's responsibility to go spy out and look at the promise. Thank you for your likes, TikTok. Thank you for your likes, Instagram. It's 12 people responsibility. So in Numbers chapter 13, we go see them go and spy out the land. Check this out. Numbers chapter 13, verse 25. It says, after exploring the land for 40 days, Numbers chapter 13, verse 25. Put that in the comments. I'm looking at the New Living Translation. Numbers chapter 13, verse 25. Look at this. After exploring the land for 40 days, the men returned to Moses and Aaron and the whole community of Israel at Kadesh in the wilderness of Paran. Kadesh is actually my middle name. My middle name is Quodish. It's Kadesh. The whole community of Israel at Kadesh in the wilderness of Paran. They reported to the whole community what they had seen and showed them the fruit they had taken from the land. Can I say something to you? History shows us that the land that they had and the fruit that they took from the land had abnormal sized fruit. Like in that land, history shows us that in that land, one grape was about that big. You see this? One grape was about this big. One grape. They came back with a bushel of grapes. In that land, the fruit looked crazy, which means the harvest in the promise was something that they couldn't even fathom. All right. There was complete benefit in getting over into that promised land. All right. Check this out. It says they reported to the whole community what they had seen and showed the community the fruit they had taken from the land. Verse 27. This was their report to Moses. We entered the land you sent us to explore, and it is indeed a bountiful country, a land flowing with milk and honey. Here is the kind of fruit it produces. So we went over there, we saw it. It's actually everything God said. It's actually everything God promised. Keep liking and keep sending gifts if you can. Send roses if you can. It's actually everything God promised. It's actually everything God said it would be. It's everything, right? It's everything. You said that this thing will be fruitful. It's fruitful. You said that it will flow with milk and honey. It's flowing. You said that it will be all of these things. It's these things. It's everything we hoped and wished for. Look at this scripture. Verse 28. But, verse 28, but, thank you, Stacy, for your roses. Thank you guys for your likes. Look at verse 28. But the people living there are powerful, and their towns are large and fortified. We even saw giants there. So they basically said to God, everything you said is there, but look at what we got to face, though. Here it is. But the people living there are powerful, and their towns are large and fortified. We even saw giants there, the descendants of Anak. The Amalekites live in the Negev, and the Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites live in the hill country. The Canaanites live along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea, and along the Jordan Valley. Here we go. But Caleb tried to quiet the people as they stood before Moses. Caleb said, let's go at once and take the land. We can go get it right now. We can go obtain this right now. It's up right now. Let's get it right now. Let's do this right now. Caleb said, shut up. Shut up with all that negativity. This is our promise. Let's go get that. Let's go do that. Check this out. We're in Numbers chapter 13, verse 32 now. Numbers chapter 13, verse 30. Numbers chapter 13, verse 30. It says this, but Caleb tried to quiet the people as they stood before Moses. Let's go and take the land at once, he said. We can certainly conquer it. Verse 31. But the other men who had explored the land with him disagreed. We can't go up against them. We can't go do what God said. We can't make it. We won't prosper. Thank you guys for your likes and your gifts. We can't prosper. We can't make it. They are stronger than we are. Here it is. So they spread this bad report about the land among the Israelites. They said this, the land we traveled through and explored will devour anyone who goes to live there. All the people we saw were huge. We even saw giants there, the descendants of Anak. Next to them, we felt like grasshoppers. And that's what they thought too. I want you to think about how deep this is. Think about how deep this is. God tells them, I'm with you. You're going to make it. You're going to be able to go and conquer this land. They go over there and they see the blessing, but they also see the opposition. And they come back and give a demonic report to people who already kind of don't believe that they're going to make it. And they spend most of their time talking about the negativity of the land. Then they do the positivity of what can happen. I need you to be careful right now. Be careful around people who tell you more about what you're up against than they do tell you about what is for you. Be careful with people who bring up the opposition more than they bring up the blessing. Be careful with people who bring up the opposition more than they bring up the blessing. More than they bring up what God can do, they talk about what did not happen for you. More than they bring up what God will do, they talk about why it hasn't happened yet. And y'all have been crying and complaining. Look, the children of Israel up until this point have been crying and complaining constantly about God lying to them. About the fact that they'll never really make it. About the fact that they'll never get there. Now that they're there enough to see it, the opposition now makes them talk stupid. And they start to sin by not believing that they can go and conquer it. I need you to understand something. When God told you about your promise, he knew about your enemies too. When God told you about your promise, he knew what you would face. And he gave you your promise anyway, meaning that what you're facing obviously is not strong enough to stop you. God knew that there will be a death in your family. Come on, let me talk directly to you. God knew that person would cheat on you. God knew that you would struggle in your health. God knew that you would lose your job. God knew that you would be homeless. God knew God knew what would happen. And he said, go anyway. Meaning, whatever opposition is coming towards you is not strong enough to stop you. But what is strong enough to stop you is unbelief. I'm preaching. I'm preaching. TikTok, I'm preaching. Instagram, I'm preaching. YouTube, I'm preaching. What is strong enough to stop you is not your enemy. It's your unbelief. It's your unbelief. I want you to write that in the comments section right now. My enemy can't stop me. My enemy can't stop me. My enemy can't stop me. Unbelief will stop me. My enemy can't stop me. Unbelief will stop me. You don't have time to even dabble in conversations that produce any level of unbelief. Any level of unbelief. Any level of unbelief. Unbelief is you stopping you. My unbelief can. I want you guys to think about this. I'm gonna even go deeper with this story. You ready? You ready to go deeper? Okay, Numbers chapter 13. Still in the same. Numbers chapter 13, verse 33. Thank you guys on TikTok. Please send gifts. Like it up. Keep liking and do all that stuff because it helps the numbers and all those things. Thank you for that. You too, Instagram. Numbers chapter 13, verse 33. Look at what they say. This is the 12 spies that went into the land to go see it. They are spies. It says in verse 33, we even saw giants there. They are the descendants of Anak. Next to them, we felt like grasshoppers. And that's what they thought too. Next to them, we felt like grasshoppers, and that's what they thought too. Here's the deep part of that story that y'all missing. They were spies in the land. What is a spy's job? To go into a place and not be seen, not be noticed, not be caught. They're spies, and they had a successful mission, which means that they were not seen, they were not spotted, and they were not caught. So when they say, we saw giants, they saw giants, but the giants never saw them. Oh my God. The giants never saw them. So when they say, we felt like grasshoppers next to them, and that's what they thought too, the giants didn't think anything because the giants never saw them. They projected what they felt onto the giants. They think we small too. They think we grasshoppers too. No, you feel like one, and so you're projecting that on them. And you're talking yourself out of the promise. I am preaching, bro. This is... So the giants never said that. You want to know what the giants really thought of them? Joshua chapter 6, verse 1. Before the Israelites go and they face Jericho, which is another big city. When the Israelites go and face Jericho, Joshua chapter 6, verse 1 says this. Now the gates of Jericho was tightly shut up. No one could go in and no one can go out. And the reason why they were shut up like that is because the whole land was afraid of the Israelites because they heard about what God did for them. Meaning, even at this time, the land was afraid of them. So they went over there and projected fear onto their enemies, or projected their perception of how they felt onto their enemies when their enemy was really actually afraid of them. Those giants weren't big and bad in front of Israel. They were actually afraid of Israel because of what they saw God do before. And some of y'all think that the enemy is bigger than you, when the truth of the matter is your enemy in your promise is scared of you actually believing. One of the devil's biggest fears of a Christian is a Christian who actually believes God. I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds whatever. A Christian that actually believes God scares the devil's lights out. These people said we felt like grasshoppers, and that's what they thought too. Them people ain't think nothing. They ain't even see you. And the truth be told, you may be a grasshopper in stature, but you're a giant in spirit. I need you to understand that unbelief right now is unacceptable for you. What's over in that land is not too big for you to knock down and destroy. Thank you guys for your likes. Thank you guys for your likes. So Numbers 14, look at this. Look at what happens next. Numbers 14. When the 10 spies, so it's 12 of them that go over there, 10 of them come back saying this is impossible. We can never do this. All right? 10 of them come back saying that. 2 of them come back saying, chill out. We can go take this land. What are y'all saying? When they go over there and the 2 come back and speak positive, but the 10 come back and speak negative, the 10 influence the whole body of Israel. And the whole body of Israel begins to be scared. They begin to speak negative. They begin to align their faith with the demonic report. And they start to change their language. Look at this. Numbers chapter 14, verse 1. Numbers chapter 14, verse 1. If this is blessing you, let me know right now in the comment section. If this is blessing you, let me know right now in the comment section. Sorry, Instagram. Let me know right now in the comment section if this is blessing you. If this is blessing you, let me know right now in the comment section. If you're on TikTok, give me likes. Like it up, please, for the thing. And send gifts. Do your thing. If you're on Instagram, share this with somebody. Heart it. Do all those things. I say that because it helps the algorithm. Not it doesn't help me as a man. It helps the algorithm. Some people think weird. Anyway, Numbers chapter 14, verse 1. Look at what happens. Then the whole community began weeping out loud. They began crying. Thank you, Charles, for your gifts, man. Thank you so much. Then they started weeping out loud. And they cried all night. Their voices rose in great chorus to protest against Moses and Aaron. Listen to this. Their voices rose in a great chorus to protest against Moses and Aaron. The people trying to lead them into the promise, they rose up together and they started speaking against them in a big chorus. They sounded like a singing choir, joined in complaint. Did you hear what I just said? Joined together, unified in complaint against God. Be careful who you unify yourself with, who you become one with, who you get into agreement with. Some of us have come into agreement with people who are speaking literally against what God said is ours. You agree with them. The whole community believed the 10 spies, and they all started crying out loud like they already lost the fight. The devil got you thinking you lost the fight. You haven't even started yet. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? The devil got them thinking they lost the fight they haven't even went into yet. The devil knows if you go fight, you finna win. So I got to convince you that the fight ain't even worth entering into with unbelief. This is what they say. Their voices rose in great chorus of protest against Moses and Aaron. This is Numbers 14 and 2. Numbers 14 and 2. If only we had died in Egypt or even here in the wilderness, they complained. Look at that. Look at that word they said. If only we died here in Egypt or here in the wilderness. If only we had just died. They started speaking death over themselves. Unbelief will make you speak death over yourself. Unbelief will make you speak death over yourself. If only we had died here in the wilderness. If only we had died. Are we serious? If only we had died here in the wilderness. Hmm. If only we had died in Egypt or even here in the wilderness, they complained. Why is the Lord taking us to this country only to have us die in battle? Why is God taking me to this new job only to have me lose it? Why is God giving me a new relationship only for this one to leave me? They just gonna leave me like the last one did. Why is God opening up this new door if it's just not gonna work in the end? Why is God? Look at this, man. Why is the Lord taking us to this country only to have us die in battle? Our wives and our little ones will be carried off as plunder. Wouldn't it be better for us to return to Egypt? Then they plotted among themselves. Let's choose a new leader and go back to Egypt. They sat and complained to the point where they said, let's choose a new leader that's going to take us backwards. The spirit of unbelief is a spirit that is dedicated to making you go backwards. Some of us really have gotten to the place where we started to believe back is better than whatever is ahead. I need you to hear me today. There is nothing back there for you. If you don't write nothing else in these comments, some of you are sowing into the ministry. Thank you so much for sowing into the ministry. You can sow into Preach Christ Ministries by way of Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, or by way of the website in the pinned comment. Sow into this word. But if you're going to sow, I need you to say this word. If you're going to write a comment, I need you to say this word. Say this word now. There is nothing back there for me. If you're going to sow into this word right now, tag your seed. There's nothing back there for me now. Write it in the comments. There's nothing back there. Some of y'all need to hear me. There's nothing back there with him. I'm going to say that again, and I'm going to look into each camera I'm talking to. There's nothing back there with him. Whoever you are, there's nothing back there with him. Whoever you are, there's nothing back there with him. Whoever you are. Let me say it another way. There's nothing back there with her. Whoever you are, there's nothing back there with her. Whoever you are, there's nothing back there with her. Whoever you are. If God saved you from it, don't run back to it. There's nothing back there. Some of you need to sow on that. Some of you need to sow on that. If it's a blessing to you, sow on that. But there's nothing back there with him. There's nothing back there with her. There's nothing back there with that. There's nothing back there for you. What is the purpose? What is the reason? And they said, we're going to find a new leader that will help us go backwards. Do you know the spirit of unbelief looks for another leaders, looks for leaders too? Be careful who you follow. Be careful who you follow. Be careful who you follow. Because we are followers by habit. And some of us are following something right back to bondage, right back to our old place, right back to it. You're going right back to what messed you up before. You don't know it, but you're chasing what you ran from. I am preaching. I am preaching. I am preaching. It's helping me. You don't know it, but you're chasing what you ran from. There's nothing back there. Thank you for your seed. Those of you that are sowing, sow into this, sow into this. I say that boldly to you. Sow into it. If you felt led. There's nothing back there. Now, okay. They said we're going to find some other people, take us back to Egypt. Verse 5. Then Moses and Aaron fell down on the ground before the whole community of Israel. Two of the men who had explored the land, Joshua and Caleb, tore their clothes. They said to all the people of Israel, the land we traveled through and explored is a wonderful land. God is really going to do this for us. This is a beautiful promise. What are y'all talking about? The land we explored is a wonderful land. And if the Lord is pleased with us, He will bring us safely into that land and give it to us. It is a land flowing with milk and honey. Do not rebel against the Lord and be afraid of the people of the land. They are only helpless prey to us. They have no protection, but the Lord is with us. Don't be afraid of them. This is what Joshua and Caleb say. Look at the response of the people when Joshua and Caleb say this. Verse 10, but the whole community began to talk about stoning Joshua and Caleb. They were going to kill Joshua and Caleb because they said, we can actually make it. Sometimes it's dangerous for you to be the only believer in your family. For you to be the only believer. Am I just saying believer in Jesus Christ? No, I'm not just saying that. I'm saying believer in the promise of God. A believer that I don't have to be in dysfunction like my family. I don't have to get a divorce like my family. I don't have to get this like my family. I don't have to live in poverty like my family. I don't have to live in dysfunction and toxicity like my. You can almost get killed by unbelieving people because you dare to believe what God said. Some of you need to understand you're not crazy, you're a believer. And your environment will make you think that you're crazy because they all believe that the best life for them is behind them. But you believe that the best is yet to come. So having done all to stand, you're choosing to stand. You're choosing to go forward. You're choosing not to quit. You're choosing not to give up. And everybody's looking at you like you crazy because you're making that choice. But you need to understand God called you to continue to move, and God will never let somebody snuff out your light, snuff out your fire. You got to choose that. They were ready to kill Joshua and Caleb because Joshua and Caleb said, God is going to do it. Some people are ready to kick you out the group, to attack you, to go at you simply because you said, no, God's still going to do it for my family. We ain't going to be poor all our life. I'm not going to be depressed all my life. I'm not going to get married and then get a divorce like mama and daddy. I'm not finna go through that. This land that God promised me is a good land. Thank you, TikTok, for your likes and for your gifts. Continue to like, continue to give gifts. That helps us as creators. I'm not going down that path. They said God is going to do it. They said God is going to do it. This thing is blessing me, man. All right, so this thing is blessing me, family. Y'all, this is really doing something for me right now. Because I have things up before God that God has to do. I don't even have the power to do this stuff. God has to do. Here it is. When they thought about stoning them, when they gathered to stone them, then the glorious presence of the Lord appeared to all the Israelites at the tabernacle. And the Lord said to Moses, how long will these people treat me with contempt? Will they never believe me, even after all the miraculous signs I have done among them? I will disown them and destroy them with a plague. Then I will make you into a great into a nation greater and mightier than they are. God told Moses, I'm going to kill them and start over because I can't deal with unbelief. Y'all got to hear how heavy this thing is. God said, I'm going to just wipe that out. And I need you to understand, I believe that the Lord is sending people to your life that are crazy enough to believe with you. Who am I talking to, man? Who am I talking to? I believe that God is sending people to your life that are crazy enough to believe God with you. They crazy enough to think that God's going to do it too. They crazy enough to think that God is going to make a way too. They're crazy enough to believe with you. They crazy enough to rock with you. They crazy enough to keep going. They crazy enough to not stop. Destiny Burston, I see your seed. Thank you so much. Marlon Gibson, I see your seed. Rich, I see your seed. So, and it's going to be a time at the end of so. Listen to this. Listen to this. There are people that God is going to send to you to literally help you in your belief, to keep you believing, to keep you going, to keep you moving, to keep you moving. Stephanie on TikTok said, is this going to be a live or a podcast or just a live? Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Norris Johnson II, and it's on YouTube. This is a YouTube video. The glory of God comes and it interrupts their plans to kill them, which means the glory of God is your protection. The glory of God appears and it interrupts their plans to kill Joshua and Caleb. Here it is. I need you to see what God does as a result, though. God says, I'm going to kill them. Moses intercedes for them and says, Lord, don't do that. Please, please don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that. And the Bible says that in Numbers chapter 14, verse 20, then the Lord said, I will pardon them as you've requested. So I ain't going to kill them. But as surely as I live, and as surely as the earth is filled with the Lord's glory, not one of those people will ever enter that land. They have all seen my glorious presence and my miraculous signs I performed both in Egypt and in the wilderness. But again and again, they have tested me and refused. And again, they have tested me and refused, and refused to listen to my voice. They will never even see the land I swore to give their ancestors. None of those who treated me with contempt will ever see it. But my servant Caleb has a different attitude than the others have. He has remained loyal to me. So I will bring him into the land he explored. His descendants will possess their full share of that land. Now turn around and don't go toward the land where the Amalekites and Canaanites live. Tomorrow you must set out for the wilderness in the direction of the Red Sea, meaning I'm going to let y'all go backwards. The Red Sea was backwards. They needed to go towards the Jordan River. God says, I'm going to let y'all just go backwards. Because you unbelieve, because you're unbelieving, you're going to stay back. Listen to this. Verse 27, God says this to Moses and Aaron. This is Numbers 14, verse 27. Chilling verse. Then we're done. Then I'm done. Verse 27. How long must I put up with this wicked community and its complaints about me? Yes, I have heard the complaints that the Israelites are making against me. Now tell them this, as surely as I live, declares the Lord, I will do to you the very things I heard you say. Whoo! You will all drop dead in this wilderness because you complained against me. Every one of you who is 20 years old or older and was included in the registration will die. You will not enter and occupy the land I swore to give you. The only exceptions will be Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, son of Nun. You said your children will be carried off as plunder. Well, I will bring them safely into the land, and they will enjoy what you have despised. But as for you, you will all drop dead in this wilderness, and your children will be like shepherds wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. In this way, they will pay for your faithlessness. In this way, they're going to pay for your unbelief, for your faithlessness. until the last of you lies dead in the wilderness. Because your men explored the land for 40 days, you must wander in the wilderness for 40 years, a year for each day, suffering the consequences of your sins. Then you will discover what it is like to have me for an enemy. I, the Lord, have spoken. I will certainly do these things to every member of the community who has conspired against me, and they will be destroyed here in this wilderness, and here they will die. And the 10 men who poisoned the minds of everyone, God hit them with the plague and they died immediately. Because they didn't believe, they could not go into the land. God let them wander until they died off because he refused to let unbelieving people go into the promise that he set up for them. I want you to think about this, man. Thank you, Zania. Zania said you cannot move forward with an old mindset. Facts. Facts only. You cannot move forward with an old mindset. The reason why the sin of unbelief is so bad is because it will keep you from obtaining what God said is yours. Unbelief doesn't mean moments of uncertainty. That's not the same as unbelief. You saw their unbelief in full effect. They started to curse and attack people who even believed. It's time for you to get with people that believe. Thank you for your likes, TikTok. Continue to like, continue to send gifts and do all those things. Thank you so much, guys. That is such a blessing. You have to literally move in a way now where it's not debatable what God is trying to get you to do. It's not debatable how God is trying to get you to, like, I'm not debating and I'm not going back and forth with anybody. If God said do it, I'm doing it. If God said go, I'm going. If God said make it happen, I'm making it happen. It is that time. It is that time. All right. I hope that this word was a blessing to you in some way, shape, or form. I hope that God spoke to you in some way, shape, or form through this word. If this word was a blessing to you, you can be a blessing to Preach Christ Ministries by sowing. We believe in sowing. We believe in reaping a harvest of what we've sown. In the pinned comments everywhere, you see the avenues that you can sow. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, or just the website, Preach Christ Ministries. I want you to sow. Sow into this word if it was a blessing to you. Sow into this word if it was a blessing to you. Sow prayer, sow your love, all those things. We believe in sowing in folds, 20-fold, 40-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. You could sow in 20s, 40s, 60s, or 100s, or whatever the Lord puts on your heart. We believe in that simply because we believe that the Lord is going to give back to us 100-fold, pressed down, shaken together, running over. And we believe that men will give unto our bosom, as the scripture decreed. We believe in that, and so we sow. And you sow into Preach Christ Ministries to help it maneuver and keep going and help us scale and become all that God has said. I need you to understand that the promise of God is going to happen for you. Your enemies cannot stop you. And when I say enemies, I ain't talking about people. A lot of our enemies is the stuff that we faced as kids, our traumas, our fears, different things of that nature. Now, I'm not always talking about people. People don't have that power that you give them. But the main thing that can stop you in this season is unbelief. If you are unbelieving, I don't want you to be unbelieving in this season. Believe what God said and walk in it. All right? Believe in what God said and walk in it. I love you guys so much. And I pray the blessings of God over you, your family, and over everyone connected to you. God is going to do whatever he promised you. TikTok, thank you guys so much for your gifts, for your likes, for all those things. TikTok, I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. God is good. I see you, Jody. Love you, Jody. TikTok, I'll see you later. Deuces. Instagram. Thank you guys for rocking. YouTube, I appreciate you guys. Again, if you feel led to sow into the ministry, however you feel led, go ahead. And so we appreciate y'all. We love you guys so much, and we thank God for you. We honor God for your life. We honor God for what you've just sacrificed even for us. We love you. We thank you so much. I will see y'all soon on YouTube and on Facebook. See you guys later. Love you. Bye-bye.